It's July in Walt Disney World, typically one of the busiest parts of the summer. But this summer, July is not looking so hot. And that includes the 4th of July, guys, where July 2026 is Disney World's least busy month since September of 2021. Vash, let's talk about it today on That Park Place. This is coming from Disney Tourist Blog, written by Tom Bricker. This is astounding to me. And by the way, guys, just so you know, this is third party. This is not us, telling you this, like from us, like this is Tom Bricker telling you this, because people say we lie about this stuff all the time, but Tom says we're less than 1 week into July 2026, but it's already been the slowest month at Walt Disney World since September of 2021. Wait times over the Independence Day holiday weekend were predictably low, despite sold-out park reservations for annual pass holders and resort restrictions to ensure adequate fireworks viewing for Magic Kingdom area and overnight hotel guests. Okay, so what happened with here's the thing. I know people that were there at Epcot and at Magic Kingdom for the fireworks, and they were like, yeah, it was packed. And it was packed. A lot of people. America 250, there were a lot of people there. The rest of the day, however, probably not nearly as much, Vash. And that's kind of what we see, is that people show up for the fireworks on 4th of July, but they don't spend the day there. And what Disney wants is for you to spend the day there. Because when you spend the day there, then you're buying snacks and you're buying sodas and you're buying lunch and you're buying, you're buying. That's what they want. So it's also very, like what Tom is kind of saying here, sold out park reservations for annual pass holders. They probably are limiting annual pass holders on the 4th of July for Magic Kingdom very strictly, because they want to make sure that hotel guests have more access to the parks for the fireworks. Also predictable were the reactions on social media expressing surprise about the parks being dead or ghost towns, along with oh my goodness, if there was anything that could have ticked me off more, it's the Muppets doing this. Oh, no. On the bottom. Matt Vogel, you absolute moron. Like, I can't stand the Muppets doing the Avenue Q thing. Hold on, I'm going to scroll up so I don't have to look at it. Also predictable were the reactions on Jim Henson never would have done that. He showed you the Puppeteers one time in like a behind the scenes special, but like no. He even said to Carol Spinney, when Carol Spinney did like a thing with like the Big Bird costume, like he was half in it, and he goes, "You're either a man or a bird. You're not both." Also predictable were the reactions social media expressing surprise at the parks being dead or ghost towns, along with fans offering their own favorite theories as to why this happened. This post covers wait times, data, and discusses real reasons for lowering crowds during what used to be a popular holiday. None of this will come as a surprise to regular readers of this blog. This is a point we've been stressing for years, most recently in Should You Visit Walt Disney World in the Summer? That post offers our verdict on whether visiting this time of year is worth it, which basically comes down to whether and longer days versus lower crowds and better deals. There's more to it than that, but this is the nutshell version of those salient points. Summer hasn't been peak season since 2016. There were a couple of years that were anomalies during the pent-up demand period, which is probably a big reason why some fans are being caught off guard by this summer slowdown. It's time for my summer slowdown. Sorry. At Walt Disney World and in 2026, because it hasn't been the case that summer has consistently been slow during the last decade. Contrary to conventional wisdom that Memorial Day through Labor Day is the biggest stretch of the year in Florida, summer crowds are no longer unbearable, just the weather is. Summer no longer being peak season comes as a surprise to some, but even bigger shock is that the week of Independence Day is the slowest of the slow summer weeks to visit Walt Disney World. The long weekend used to have 10 out of 10 crowds and be among the busiest holidays of the year. That's no longer even remotely the case. To the contrary, it's become below average. It's typically less busy than either Memorial Day or Labor Day, which are also not popular holidays for travel to Walt Disney World. All the ones after Labor Day until the following Memorial Day are, though. For those who aren't well versed in this topic, the 4th of July has become a quieter holiday since pent-up demand ended. Independence Day 2023 was downright dead at Walt Disney World. Man, it's so weird to hear somebody else say this, isn't it? Because we're told all the time that we're liars about this.
Yes, and that we cherry pick, and I went and it was full, or wait time's not a great metric, or whatever. Just
or when
the
we say
range
that,
of excuses.
When we say there's no one there, they're like, look, there's 5 people there. Like, okay, yeah, sure, you're right. What were we thinking? What could we have possibly been thinking? Independence Day 2023 was downright dead at Walt Disney World. It was such a hot topic that it drew an explanation from CEO Bob Iger, who attributed the light crowds to an exhaustion of pent-up demand and bad weather. I believe we have that clip.
It was measuring attendance at Disney World on July 4th, which didn't really factor in temperature, which was about 100 degrees and 99% humidity on that day.
So good.
Oh, God, it just like, come on, Bob. Like, Independence Day 2024 crowds were again unexpectedly low, even minus blockouts. We covered that one. I remember that was one of the first things I covered for that Park Place was 2024 crowds. Walt Disney World as a whole had an average wait time of 26 minutes on July 4th, 2024. That was down as compared to the last 2 weeks of June, which had average wait times of 35 minutes and 31 minutes. 4th of July 2025, crowds were similarly slow. We were actually on the ground, boots on the ground to cover this. First week of July had a 26-minute wait average and a crowd level of 1 out of 10. Sunday, July 6th, was the slowest day of the summer and the entire year up to that point. This was a sharp contrast to the last week of June, which was tied for busiest week of the summer. We have consistently predicted that the first week or so of July 2026 would not be busy. To the contrary, we've been imploring our readers to target this particular week for their summer vacations for over a year. We went as far as to add the week around Independence Day to our list of the 10 best and 10 worst weeks to visit Walt Disney World in 2026 and 2027. We made the case to visit during the specific week of summer last November in a standalone. Yeah, okay, we get it. Tom, you're telling people to go. And against that backdrop, let's see how our predictions performed via wait times courtesy of thrillData.com. So you start with a look at the monthly wait time data, which shows every month since the beginning of 2019. We're only 6 days into July 2026. This is obviously a very incomplete picture. Nevertheless, offering this view because the month is already split into 2 weeks and because this underscores just how slow July has been thus far. Here is July, Vash. You see it's green. That makes it the slowest month since right here, which is September of 2021. Now, I don't know if you remember what was happening in September 2021, but obviously we were still in the pandemic at the time. We were coming out of it, and this was when New York and California closed back up.
Right.
Do you remember we were coming out of it, and then all of a sudden they pulled back?
I do remember that. Yes, I remember that very vividly. It's a terrible time for sure. Also, too, I think, were there mask restrictions at both parks during that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that obviously has an effect on this too.
Yeah. The mask hold on. September 2021.
Did you still have to? I think you had to wear masks indoors, right? You didn't have to wear them all the time, like the summer of 2020.
I don't remember 100% because I started taking my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I think November of 2021, and I think we did not have to wear masks on that trip. So that was only 2 months. So maybe masks were already gone. But for most of 2021, you had to wear a mask, and it was terrible. But nobody came near you, which was awesome. So this is we're only currently the last month to have lower crowd levels was September 2021. This is back during the phased reopening when the Delta variant and reinstated face mask rules caused a surge in cancellations. It's safe to say that July 2026 won't end up being quite that slow. You're right.
Okay. Before anybody gets on me, you're an anti-masker or whatever, just understand that when I wear a mask, like, fogs in my glasses, can't see, might as well not even be there. Mm-hmm. So, for me, it's just like a no-go. It's just, I can't do it. And nobody, quite frankly, wants to go to Walt Disney World anywhere near summer with a mask restriction. It's just, it's in the data. It's undeniable, and this is why Tom Baker's actually talking about it here.
Like the summer in Orlando with masks on was horrible.
That's gotta be rough.
It was not fun, man. It was not fun. But because let's start with a look at the monthly wait time data, which shows every month since the beginning of 2019. Hold on, we read that part already, I think. Here's the weekly view, which shows summer slowdown in action since around Memorial Day. So this is the week. I guess this is the weekly view right here. And so you see, we had oh no, that's not the weekly view. I think the weekly view is maybe down here. I don't know. Average wait time for one. Oh, this is over the year. Okay, so you see the spike, you see it down, and we are all the way down here, dude. That is not good. This is not good for them. All July needs is a 26-minute average to tie with 3 other months for the slowest since September 2021. Also notable is that August is usually a little less busy than July, and September is typically the slowest of all, in which case it's possible that crowd levels in September 2026 rival September 2021. Wouldn't that be interesting? That because there'd
Would be very,
nothing to explain that away.
Mm.
So you said July 1st was the high water mark with 3 out of 10 crowd level. That's nothing. 30-minute average wait time. Every day since has been 1 out of 10 with one of those dates having wait times. And yes, guys, you will see like pictures from Magic Kingdom on the 4th of July where like this whole thing will be filled with shoulder to shoulder people. That's because they show up for the fireworks. Again, not what Disney wants.
Yeah. They want you staying there all day. They want you staying there. They can have you stay as long as the fireworks, are going to be launched off, because the hope there is not to get just one bite of the apple, but two, with lunch, dinner reservations, obviously, merchandise sales. All of that's part of that. That's why they put on those lovely fireworks presentations, but it only works if people are actually, doing their part and buying that stuff, which clearly I don't think people necessarily were.
One thing to point out here, Vash, is on July 4th, Magic Kingdom outperformed slightly, but Epcot did so massively with a 7 out of 10 crowd level. So Epcot was crowded. On 4th of July, Epcot was crowded. But when you looked at, this does make sense. And he points it out here. Magic Kingdom and Epcot both have fireworks for 4th of July. But like Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios were dead on the 4th of July. So, also worth pointing out that the crowd levels are statistical, meaning they measure wait times as opposed to park congestion. Usually wait times are a good proxy for crowds, but not always. Magic Kingdom and Epcot fireworks viewing areas on Independence Day are a prime example of this exception, as they were undoubtedly very busy. That's precisely why Walt Disney World sold out of park reservations for APs despite low wait times. Then there's Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, which were extremely slow by any measure. Both parks had their lowest wait times of 2026 on the 4th of July and were even lower than the last few years. Hollywood Studios had an average wait time of 20 minutes, which is extremely low for Hollywood. That's lower than any day I visited DHS since the COVID days. I mean, I should have gone to Hollywood. I was too busy making barbecue all day. But, I should have gone. Should have gone there. Now, he points to economic anxiety. He says the economy is something that inevitably comes up in comments to posts like this, and understandably so. At the same time, any theory that could be contradicted by higher crowds in the last few months or the next few months is off the table, meaning that higher prices, fewer perks, and companies' reputation do not explain the lower summer crowds trend. We figured this was worth a reminder, as Walt Disney World just released October through December discounts, which offered abysmal availability. Already, many resorts are sold out, and Disney's CFO has indicated that bookings for the coming quarters are up year over year. So it's not to say that Walt Disney World doesn't have a pricing problem. It does, and they have discussed this in countless posts. Vash, what do you think is happening here?
Well, there could be some macroeconomic issues for sure. There could be a little bit of let's just kind of wait and see on this kind of stuff. Also, too, I mean, look, Walt Disney World, as far as it stands right now, there's been some overlays, sure, like the Muppets overlay for Rock and Roller Coaster and all of that. Some smaller stuff like Bluey, but the major stuff is years away. So why would you necessarily go now? Versus Epic Universe, brand new. Not everybody has necessarily visited that park right there. Right. And obviously Universal has not, taken their foot off the gas when it comes to investments. So I think there are definitely opportunities to be had there. I just don't think there's a lot moving in Walt Disney World's direction when it comes to, okay, well, when you take the random family from Colorado, you're going to have to lay down, thousands and thousands of dollars for vacation and might very well go into debt for it. What is the real driver to get you down there? I don't think there's that much there. And if I remember correctly, the international visitation has still not yet been restored to its pre-2019 levels. That also playing a big dramatic effect, I think, in the amount of spending going on at Walt Disney World, which is why they might be so aggressive in raising prices the way they have been, even though there are less guests.
Yeah. So Bricker says here, the bottom line is that whatever issues might exist with the U.S. economy, the American consumer is still spending freely and going places for Independence Day. It's certainly not impacting travel as a whole, although it could affect what consumers are doing once arriving at the destinations. So essentially, Vash, what they're saying here is people are traveling for 4th of July. They just weren't traveling to Walt Disney World.
Right. And we've heard that before, where national parks are going crazy right now. Some more value options certainly showing up there. not a lot of demand for theme parks outside of Disney Universal, which is a concerning trend that we're seeing. But for Disney itself, at least in Walt Disney World, like I was saying before, why would you necessarily embark on a vacation now when you could wait a couple of years and get Cars Land, get Villains Land, get some of these new enhancements that they have, that they've touted here for going on a couple of years now. So I think that might be part of this calculus as well. There's just, I think Walt Disney World could really do some very, very good things when it comes to attendance concerns, if in fact they were to roll out a very nice, robust entertainment spread. We're not necessarily seeing that from Walt Disney World, though. They did the what is it, the electrical parade, version 3 for Walt Disney World last year, right there.
Right, and it is pretty good.
Yeah, but look at what Epic Universe is doing, right? They just launched a daily fireworks spectacular. That's what Disney should be doing. That's the kind of direction that Disney should be focused in.
Right.
Maybe doing like a nighttime entertainment package for Animal Kingdom, for example, or doing more parades, or doing those things that you can activate relatively quickly as people wait for those big investments. That's what they should be doing. They're not. And so, are we necessarily surprised at the result?
Right. I agreed. 100% agreed. All right, guys. So there you go. People are traveling for the 4th of July this year. They were traveling about, but they were not traveling to Walt Disney World.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.